Hello, and thank you for joining me for another installment of There You Go with Bryan. More than 2 centuries ago, in a valley nestled within the eternal majesty of the Allegheny Mountains in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia, sits a haven for the pampered, wealthy elite class. An exclusive hidden gem designed to cater to a select few who can afford to escape the hustle and bustle of more populated areas. The Greenbrier Resort was built in 1778. Earliest guests came to White Sulphur Springs to take the waters to restore their health. By 1830, it was a home away from home for politicians, judges, editors, lawyers, diplomats, ministers, planters, and merchants. Before the Civil War, 5 sitting presidents stayed here, demonstrating the resort's reputation as the favored gathering place for the nation's most influential and powerful families. When World War II came, the Greenbrier was converted into a 2,000-bed hospital known as Ashford General. Over the course of 4 years, over 24,000 soldiers were admitted and treated at the Surgical and Rehabilitation Center. After the war, the Greenbrier reverted back to a luxury hotel. But this was not just another luxury hotel for the rich and powerful, for just below the surface, actually about 750 feet below the surface, lies another story. By the 1950s, President Eisenhower knew that tensions with the Soviet Union were heating up to a fever pitch. Both the U.S. and Russia had atomic missiles pointed at each other, and the clock was ticking. If the Soviet Union decided to fire off a nuclear missile at Washington, D.C., America would have to act fast, and that would mean preserving the U.S. government and the chain of command at any cost. It was for that reason that President Eisenhower requested a subterranean shelter be built in a location that was close enough to Washington, but far away enough to be safe. After much consideration, the Greenbrier Hotel was chosen as the perfect spot. A train line had been installed leading from Washington to the front door of the luxury hotel, and ground was broken in 1957. Building a top-secret bomb shelter without anyone finding out would be a pretty tall order. But an announcement was made that the hotel would start in the off-season to do quote-unquote renovations and an expansion project. The work was piecemealed out, and one worker really never had an idea what the other worker was doing. Others were sworn to secrecy, and if someone had an inclination to start gossiping, they could end up in prison for violating national security. By the time John F. Kennedy took office, the bunker was complete. It would hold 1,000 people, mostly senators, their aides, and a maintenance crew to keep the bunker operational. For 30 years, the facility codenamed Project Greek Island was maintained at a constant state of operational readiness. The 2-level facility is over 112,000 square feet, roughly the size of 2 football fields on top of one another, and cost $14 million to build. In the event of a nuclear attack, the senators would have to leave behind their wives and children, as space was limited. After all, this was an end-of-world scenario. Upon entering the bunker, you would see several signs that say high voltage, keep out. These were meant to keep people away from the bunker's entrance. The bunker has 4 doors, all made by the Ohio-based Mosler Safe Company and shipped to Greenbrier by railway. The 2 largest doors are known as GH1 and GH3. They weigh in at approximately 28 and 20 tons, respectively. They require 50 pounds of force to open. It was comprised of steel and concrete. Once sealed, the bunker would have had enough air to last 72 hours, after which a triple ventilation system would filter air. Once inside, you would find yourself walking down a long tunnel leading to the actual bunker itself. Your first stop? The decontamination showers. Assuming all the outside world was radioactive, you would not be allowed to bring anything into the bunker. Next, you would be assigned a bunk in a room that would hold 60 government workers. You would get a locker to share with 3 other people, and then you would probably head to the cafeteria to get something to eat. 2 months of freeze-dried food was in stock at all times. Water was stockpiled, as well as coffee and even some wine and whiskey. There was a makeshift Senate room with a large picture of the Capitol and enough seating for everyone who had survived so far. This subterranean city also had a small dental office and a miniature hospital for all your medical needs. And if things ever got really out of hand, there were 2 jail cells to hold the unruly and 2 straitjackets to restrain the insane. Needless to say, there was a large supply of antidepressants on hand. Why, they even had their own cremation incinerator in case anyone died. State-of-the-art communications would be crucial. TV and radio systems were installed, and in the woods just outside, a 200-foot retractable antenna could be raised via remote control. You see, this was not the only bunker on hand for such an event. There were at least 20 similar bunkers around the country, ready and able to be used at a moment's notice, and they would have to be in communication with each other for the country to continue. As Kennedy and Khrushchev played a deadly game of chicken with the future of mankind at stake, 15 full-time people were responsible for keeping the underground city ready and able to preserve the United States government and the survival of the country itself. For 30 years, this top-secret hideout was concealed. Oh, there were some rumors from the locals about all the strange construction that was going on behind the Grand Hotel in the woods, but the secret never really got out. The bunker remained a closely guarded secret until 1992, when Washington Post reporter Ted Goop revealed its existence in his article, The Ultimate Congressional Hideaway. Given that its secure location was one of the primary guarantees for its defense, the bunker was quickly decommissioned. Government officials were critical of the article, explaining they felt a great disservice had been done to the country's security. However, by 1992, the bunker was essentially obsolete. The bunker was built when bombers took hours to go over the polar ice caps. The warning time was many hours. But now we were talking about minutes, perhaps even seconds. When the truth was revealed, the town folks and even many of the hotel workers were amazed at what was found just 750 feet below their feet. It had been there since 1957, and although there were rumors, no one really knew for sure what lay beneath the Greenbrier Hotel. Today, the bunker is open for tours to the public. Visitors to the Greenbrier still come to this luxury haven in the hills to relax and be pampered, but they get something else as well, a peek back in time to an age where secrets could be kept and the world came close to the brink of destruction. Thank you so much for joining me for another installment of There You Go with Bryan. If you enjoyed this program and would like to support it, please click our Patreon link below or our Venmo link below. We always appreciate your support, and until next time, thank you so much for listening.